earlier, and maintenance is necessary. And with the effort to carry out software maintenance activities set ad hoc may cause delays in quality and request delivery. So some historical data can help teams to create mechanisms to measure time and this effort. And if you think that software maintenance can be performed collaboratively, and in this context, reputation affect collaboration among team members, it can be work together. So how reputation can affect, like a cooperation indicator, and maybe for communication, if you are available or not to communicate with your team colleagues, team members like you. And here we work with the concept of reputation, which is the perception that an entity creates through previous actions based on their intentions, rules, and beliefs. And we thought that our approach can put all this together. So our goal is to support effort estimation on collaborative maintenance and evolution activities. So this is our approach. We put together historical data from a Mentis repository, a reputation model, and some visualization elements with interactive. When you mouse, you can interact with the visualization. So this is our previous work. Article is an architecture for reputation information with an ontology to represent reputation information, like the model and the source and the target to achieve the reputation. You have to, in this architecture, some views to visualize and analyze the reputation information. And give me a phrase, another colleague that work with collaborative maintenance groups and evolution activities that do the management of all this stuff. And our approach communicates with Archive directly. So this is the reputation model formula. W, named a priori, is equal K, is the number of possible values. So you can receive a yes or a no. So K is equal to. Here you have the number of change requests that developer dealt, and this is the total number of over here, the total number of change requests, and P is the initial probability of a value occurs. So if you have 2 and in a uniform distribution you have 50% of chance probability of a yes, or you receive a no rating. This is the developer ranking reputation view. When you put your mouse over the bar like this, you can see some important information about this developer, like his name, the main value, standard deviation, and upper control limit and lower control limit, and the reputation value with a color representation. If you are up from the upper control limit, you have another color for if you low than the lower control limit, and if you are between the limits. And you can select this specific developer, or select these, or you can interact with the visualization and select the developers that you will use in the step of our approach. So the process to estimate effort, you first select a new change request, and then the approach collects the new change request information like severity, priority, module, and project, and the DRR view is shown, and user can select developers. So the approach search for change requests with same characteristics dealt by deselected developers. The big opportunity, because you will change your estimation when you select specific developers. And then these change requests are aggregated by actual time spent, and arithmetic mean shows the estimation. And then the end of process, you, the manager, submit the estimation to repository. So this is the process, and we carry out a experimental study, which the goal is analyze the AD reputation approach in order to verify the feasibility of fields with regard to the task of estimating effort spent on maintenance activities from the point of view of developers in this our contest of collaborative maintenance and software evolution. Based on a set of maintenance activities to be solved in 2-week period, like named Sprint 1 and 2, and the database with 5 years of historical change requests. We made a partnership with a company to give us the data for this experimental study. So the participants' characterization, 24 to 40 years old. 5 of them are system analysts and 1 project manager with no contact with database or knowledge of process from the company, to balance the other 5-1. So, team used a planning poker technique to estimate Sprint 1 and 2, and then Sprint 1 and 2 was developed and started and in time was collected. So, this first here, we have the planning poker time estimate. Second one is the actual time spent, and the third here is each participant received Sprint 1 and 2 to analyze and estimate the effort using our approach. And they evaluated qualitatively to both the approach and the DRR view. So we got for the quantitative evaluation, we have these hypotheses. So the new hypothesis, there is no difference between the average of the estimated predicted time, the time estimated by the Penny Poker technique, the actual time spent, and the estimated time by AD-Reputation, and the alternative hypothesis is the otherwise. So we start for the normality test, and the results is the same. The sample has normal distribution, and then the homoscedasticity test and the sample were not homoscedastic. So we had to use the non-parametric Cruz-Wallace test. The p-value equal to 0.185, which means the acceptance for no hypothesis. So the means are statistically equivalent. So we could start the qualitative evaluation. We analyze from the participant's point of view, only the participant's point of view, if approach and visualization are useful for the effort estimation test, and use a Likert scale. This is the limit one, the limit for does not support a estimation. The limit 2 supports somewhat the estimation. And 3 is the limit to indifference, and 4 and 5 so on. And for each change request, they estimate the set for this experimental study is a set with 59 change requests. So for each estimated activity, the participants score the approach and ERR view. So this is the average values for each one, and the average value counting all of them. And I want to highlight the values from manager that put the high rating to DRR view, and this is some tracks to validity of the experimental study. The 5 developers of the partner company that use Scrum methodology. So to balance, to minimize, we call a project manager who did not know the company to be involved in this experimental study. And the database it used had well documented change requests with the basic information and text information too, and the time spent and the estimated time. Maybe in poorly documented basis may achieve different results. Through statistical analysis, AD-Reputation feasibility has been verified, and according to participants, it's very important to highlight, according to participants, both the approach and ERR view supporting participation. Highlight the importance of some kind of this approach to estimate effort, and some future works. We want to expand, find more companies to bring us the data then we can establish new partnerships with other companies, integration with other visualization tools to diversify the options that we have, and expand the integration to other change request repositories, and maybe some code, source code repositories too. And repository.
Oh, okay. So it's
Mantis repository, yes. So here, maybe if I put Mantis right again. The company use the company use Mantis and use the default categorization. Yes. So you can reply this if your company, for example, if your company use the default categorization, you can reply this there.